Hey guys, Jason with F100 Garage, and welcome back to another episode. Right beside me, you see this beautiful green 1955 Ford F100. Whether it's Ford or Chevy, in my opinion, like this kind of set the standard for the hot rod trucks. It's sitting on a really lowered chassis built by TCI. It almost gets down to the ground. Hard to do something different with an F100 truck because they have been done. What we did is we wanted to take a little different stab at it. A nice green color, played around with it, custom mixed it, and we came up with this. Paint is by BASF. That's the only paint that we use. We like it, works well with us. They're a great company. It's their Diamond product, and so produces the sheen and the look that you really get. Classic mirrors, these were all Cerakoted. These are some billet door handles that were Cerakoted and also custom manufactured for us that we sell on our website at F100 Garage. There's kind of a goldish tint to it, kind of green gold. We've also got some really cool wheels built by Schott. They're bronze Cerakote finish on it with a brushed hoop. These are stock fenders. We do have about a 10.5-inch wheel on the back. Give it a little bit of meat, as much as we could without disrupting the integrity of the fenders. More traditional tail lights back here. We didn't go with the shield or anything. We kind of like more of a classic, a little bit older vintage look, hardware and the bumper and all that stuff that was Cerakoted as well. So in order to give us a little bit more meat back here, we actually installed some Dan Carpenter wheel tubs, Marquet bed strips in here. I actually fabricated all the wood, a blonde white wood. And as we look inside the interior of this truck, you'll kind of understand why. A fill door right here opens up and you have access to the Boyd welding tank inside there. One of the things I like about these I can kind of show off is that you don't see any wood edges when you cut and install that, unlike some of the other manufacturers. So let's go inside. Let's check out the inside of this. We've got this really nice light, kind of a bone color leather. You got a square weave carpet. You've got a little bit of perforation right here, all from Apex Leather. Great company. It was super soft, just almost buttery. We've got these Billet Specialties door handles that we've installed. Those have also been Cerakoted as well. Nice classic bench seat, bolstering on it here on the edges just to not look so flat. And then we did some hand stitching in there. There's square weave floor mats, all bound with leather as well. We've got a dash extension in there. We've got the Restomod AC, the Restomod controls, Dakota digital gauges. Those are super cool. Flaming River column along with a Spark steering wheel. We had our friend Adrian with steering wheel art, hand wrap that and stitch it with the green thread. So a lot of that stuff was Cerakoted inside there, and just to maintain the look and feel, and yet at the same time leave just one or two items there brushed to kind of tie in with the outsides. Nice, simple, clean truck. Let's look underneath the hood though. Some very traditional hood hinges. Now, there's a lot of other companies that make billet hinges. Those are cool too. But we find that they just about all work the same, other than they look a little nicer and you spend a lot more money. A Coyote motor, but it's out of an F-150. Customer actually had purchased the chassis and the motor and everything themselves up front. Gen 3 truck motor, runs really well. Ford Racing control pack. A lot of work went in with Lund Racing to get these control packs to work correctly. The Wizard radiator, you know, the ECU was kind of tucked right in here just to kind of keep the wiring right here. It's difficult when you're not hiding everything. How do you make it look and stay clean? Well, you do the best you can. We've got a cold air intake that's been fabbed up, our MAF sensor, an overflow tank right here for the radiators. Not a lot of frills, but a lot of smiles when you drive this thing. This thing is actually so fun to drive. These are all Cerakoted parts, stainless steel black anodized hardware. It softens everything without having all the shiny hardware. The customers are super excited about this. We're about ready to give it back to them. You'll see in the video the big reveal that we did for them, something that meant a lot to them, and they wanted it to be a little extra special as a family heirloom, keep it in their families. With that, we're gonna go jump in the truck. This is a cool little sun visor. This is a product that we sell on our website. So if you have a 53, 56, you know that these don't exist. This is something that we make. It allows you to still do this, but at the same time, when you take off, especially when you got like a Coyote motor, this thing isn't like flipping back into your head. We sell an AC kit that you can purchase. We sell the steering column on the website along with the steering wheel. We have about 20 different options. Here we've got an air management controller. When you're done or you go to a show and you kind of want it out of the way, it's pretty pretty easy. We're currently running Focal speakers. It's all done Bluetooth. We didn't really want to have like a stereo. Wanted to keep it kind of vintage and classic. The Coyote mount pedal is installed on a bracket that we manufacture, so it makes installing a pedal a little bit easier. This linkage right here, we sell also another kit that ties that into the 10R80 transmission. So we'll go ahead and go for a drive and see if we can have a good time. All right, so you can take a look at the gauges here. It's all lit up green. With the HDX gauges, you can choose from a million different colors. Pretty cool. You have the check engine light and all the little things you need. We do have air conditioning in this truck, but I like to ride with the windows down. Probably not much longer. It's actually Arizona, it's hot. Beautiful winters are over. So the first time I did a fuel injection swap was probably about 8 years ago, and I had not done an LS. I was kind of new to the industry. The first thing I did was a Coyote swap. Ended up doing 2 like right in a row. I said I would never go back to a regular old carbureted engine. The efficiencies, the performance, the drivability, everything just so night and day. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's something nostalgic about it, and I think 1954 was the first year you could actually purchase a truck and you could get a Y block in it. I think it was a 272, and then I think it went to the 292. If I'm remembering incorrectly, you guys can correct me in the comments. Well, obviously the flathead V8 in 1932 was just something that changed the hot rodding scene altogether. So it's kind of cool when you look at newer-ish Ford over here. We have progressed with trucks. I just got a new 2023 Ford F250, all this technology and everything in it. This is actually more fun. You're kind of your own parade. You do a chassis and you're deciding between coilovers and air ride. Coilovers are going to be a little bit stiffer, but at the same time a little bit less maintenance. Air ride could be a little bit fussier, especially if you don't have it installed correctly. And then a lot of it depends on like your chassis manufacturer. Air ride can feel a little bit more smoother through the bumps than coilovers. So this is an air ride that TCI makes. They've been making chassis for a long time. We actually only sell the Porterbuilt chassis now, and as a favor to this customer, we help them finish their truck. But overall, it rides and handles good. You got a power steering rack on it, and it's going to be nice and tight. So a little bit of a rumble. Getting an exhaust quiet can be tough, especially with these Coyote motors. They can be a little bit loud. You do what you can to get them quiet, but for cruising around town, it's fun. But we can roll the windows up. We can see what that's like. Fire up the air conditioning. Not sure which one is which. All right, so we'll turn that. There we go. Now we're getting some air. These little vents kind of put out on quite a bit of air. A lot of people will ask us how long it takes to do a build. And I guess it depends on how busy you are. Usually have 1, maybe 2 guys working on the project at a time. You get too many guys working on it, trying to get it done quickly, it can actually be a little less productive. But when you're building one from the ground up, all the way, paint, everything, it can be about 1.5 years to 2 years. And that's just because you're wanting to take your time, do a good job, make sure everything's been thought out. One thing that's nice about these seats, there's no springs in here anymore. We actually just took all the springs out. We put a nice foam in it so you don't get that bounciness that you would typically get. Sometimes I do this and there'll be like a cop. Haven't been pulled over yet. Probably one of these days though. It's coming. We're actually not too crazy. I usually get out of town before we get too crazy. It's not quite as powerful as the Mustang motor, but for the truck motor, it actually pulls really well. Plenty of power. There's just not a ton of space in these. And so it becomes hard to get the perfect body fitment, pedal location, but you're never gonna be 100% like just comfortable. Now you can put cruise control on these. There's kits where you can change out the blinker and add a cruise control. Unless you get into like the late 70s, you might be able to get a little bit more comfortable. But this is a Mustang pedal. It's controlled by electronics, the computer and the wire. So like if I was driving just a regular old cable that I had to push and pull the carburetor linkage, it wouldn't respond near as quickly. So this has just like instant response. You can anticipate that a little bit better, and you can have a little bit more control. So it's kind of an interesting spot for me. A little PTSD right here. But we're We're gonna hit it. Just wait for these cars to kind of pass, but it's a hurdle for me. So here we go. Good times, good times. That's a good sign. It's been a long time coming.
It's fun.
We're excited.
We're super excited, yeah.
We'll go out. I want to talk a little bit about the story, and then we'll do the reveal. I will say, when you guys do drive it, don't drive it crazy for a while.
Tell this one.
Because I am telling you, you punch it in 4th gear, you'll be sideways that fast. All right, come on out. Before we unroll this thing, we want you to tell us a little bit about this truck. So we put a few photos up there so we can kind of talk about it a little bit and reminisce. We knew it was a family truck, but we don't know the entire details. This belongs to you, right?
Yes, yes.
So tell me about it.
So my grandpa got the truck in '59. It was used. He kept it till about the early '80s. And he just drove it for work, fun. He's a total Ford guy, so he had a lot of cool Ford trucks and Ford Mustangs. So then he gave it to my dad in the early '80s. My dad beat it to, well, you saw its condition. He used it for a work truck, and he always said, I'm gonna get that truck fixed. And my grandpa would say, come on, Greg, when are you getting it fixed up? Just moved it from house to house, and then in 2019, we talked to him and said, are you gonna fix the truck up? No. And I said, can we take it? And so we took it, and it just looked like the picture up there in the garage. That's how it looked in each house, just filled with stuff.
Storage.
It was storage.
Yes.
And my grandpa right there, that picture, he used a coat hanger and tie up the mufflers. He was a very simple man. He would be like, wow, I can't believe you guys did this. But this will eventually be Declan's truck. It's an amazing story to be 3rd generation and to be able to pass. And he loves cars, trucks as much as we do.
Well, we brought it to our house from his house. Like Declan and I together were just messing around in the garage and got it started, and then the brakes weren't working, so picked up the brake lines, everything I needed. So hey, let's work on it this weekend when I get back from work. And then that day I came home, he's like, Dad, let's go for a drive. I was like, what?
It was 2019 so
17 years old.
17?
He literally had the brake lines on, and I'm just like, all right, let's go for it. So
What made you decide to go all in? Just bought a frame, you got a new motor, a bunch of stuff. What made you decide, like, hey?
because I knew that like this is a truck that meant the world to my wife, so we were going to start it. Then when we finally brought it over here to you guys, we were like, man, we could really get this thing done right. So
Yeah.
Well, we loved Grandpa and stuff, so I was just like, man, we got to get this thing perfect.
We need a couple people to unroll this thing. What do you think? It's beautiful.
Yes, I'm speechless. Thank you. The headliner used to hit us in the head when Dad would bring me to junior high. I'd be like, Dad, it's okay. He would just push up the headliner, we'd bang it up, and now it's amazing.
It's got a lot of power, and it really gets down the road, and it sounds amazing. So I guess we should start it. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
Wait, you come start it though.
Oh, wow. What is it? Oh, wow, it just found its own. Oh.
You can set these just by holding the button. 2 is your driving height. 3 is like, hey, there's a dip here. I better go up all the way. 1, you can set it a little bit lower than driving if you're cruising on the freeway. And these just manually adjust all 4 corners.
Here we go, ready?
Yep.
Woo! This thing's gonna go fast. I don't go fast though.
Well, you'll putt along. Yep. So you can see how we went with a little bit lighter bed just to tie in with the rest of it.
I love the light colors. I'm like, I hope we aren't too crazy doing the light, but
Everybody does dark, does gray, do red, you know, but this kind of little bit off-white color, it's classy.
It's like I'm not even gonna want to drive the thing. Oh my Lord.
I know the feeling. Once you get used to it though, you get more comfortable with it, it'll be better.
I know we have the one surprise back here, but never told anybody about it.
Okay.
So I want everyone
All right.
to buy it when we do it.
Wow. All right, you want to come back here? So the truck was called Blue Thunder, right?
Yep.
We didn't paint it blue, but keep its name.
That's right.
For Popsy. Why is it green? How many people are going to ask us that? Oh, it's blue. Let me show you.
The guy was coming to pinstripe it, then he starts to get the green paint out. I said, no blue. It's got to be blue paint. He's like, are you sure? I go, yeah, we got to do it in blue. Okay, let's go for a ride.
Smells brand new. That is wild how it just adjusts. Oh yeah, here we go. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's a dream.
It was a fun build.
That steering wheel is so awesome too.
Looks beautiful.
Look at the color.
Oh yeah, she's a fast one.
Yeah.
Or he is.
It's a looker too, so you're basically your own parade at this point. You get gas, you wherever it is, you go. You guys got classics, so you know how it is.
Color is just so good.
Good times coming in this thing.
We are gonna have so much fun. So many people have asked us about that fender, and I'm like, you gotta do it. It's a dream build. Does it have a good horn? Beep beep.
Yeah.
Oh, my grandpa was here. Oh gosh.
Get this car out of our way. Have some fun.
Have any idea it would run like that?
No, I had no idea because we have a C10 and we have a Cadillac. I thought our C10 is fast and it has a, yes, LS3. That thing's a whole nother ballgame. And it sounds way better too.
Easy. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, we just finished up also a 1971 red F100. You're gonna wanna go check that out too.